dragons were no more, vanquished with the might of the Lord Souls, and with the barren land that covered the world now theirs to rule, the Lords called for the construction of kingdoms. Expansive cities and brilliant castles rose from the ground as the Lord's subjects built towering structures all across the land to please their masters. Gwyn dubbed this new land Lordran, and chose the radiant city of Anor Londo as his kingdom. Izalith came to rule one of the old underground cities, which was renovated and made into a magnificent subterranean metropolis, which she named after herself. Nito was granted dominion over the catacombs, where those who fell during the Dragon War were laid to rest, and its neighboring tomb, where the fallen giants who had fought in Gwyn's name slept eternally. As the years passed, Gwyn became so revered, his people named him and the other lords gods of their world and worshipped them as such. Gwyn became known as the Lord of Sunlight, and it was to him that the people of Lordran prayed when they gave thanks to the magnificent sun that spilled light upon the land, believing that Gwyn himself embodied the sun's great luminescence. The lords relished in this adoration, using it to expand their kingdoms and further their influence on the new world. After his kingdom had been established, Gwyn dubbed Seath the Duke of Anor Londo and gave him authority over a great edifice that would come to be the House of the Kingdom's Archives. And he granted Seath the services of a host of knights to guard the archives and carry out the Duke's commands. Perhaps greatest of all, though, was Gwyn's gift of a fragment of his Lord Soul, bequeathed unto Seath in tandem with the archives as thanks for his invaluable insight, without which the extermination of the everlasting dragons would not have been possible. The great lord also made a point to honor those few knights who demonstrated exceptional merit on the battlefield against the dragons, with the high honor of guarding the royal cathedral. These included men and giants alike, and they carried out their tasks with a prideful tenacity. Gwyn found considerable favor in 4 of these knights, and the Lord named them his elite. Those granted this title were Dragonslayer Ornstein, Hawkeye Goth, Lord's Blade Ciaran, and Sir Artorius. Ornstein was known for his fearsome hatred for dragons and all their kin. He was granted the Leo Ring as a sign of his elite status, and fought with lightning-infused weaponry that delivered electric devastation to all those who would oppose the great Lord of Sunlight, be they mighty dragon or mortal man. Ornstein delivered more killing blows to the dragons than any other knight in Lord Gwyn's army, and so was named captain of the elite knights. Goth was the lone giant graced with his lord's ultimate favor. He was an expert marksman who led a legion of great archers during the Dragon War, shooting dragons out of the sky with their massive great arrows flung from their bows. It was this alone that allowed Gwyn's knights to slay the dragons in close combat. Gwyn bestowed upon his greatest archer the Hawk Ring to show for his new title. The master assassin Ciaran was deft of blade. Brandishing 2 curved swords, she made quick work of foes in a mesmerizing dance, etching the darkness with the dire streaks of her gold tracer, distracting them with its dazzling spectacle, and delivering swift kills with the poisonous blade of the dark silver tracer. She earned her lord's favor in the Dragon War by utilizing her small, unassuming stature and incredible speed and agility, to leap atop the fallen dragons, slitting their scaleless throats. The hornet ring was bestowed upon her as evidence of her place among the elite knights. The elite knight Artorius was a stalwart supporter of the will of Lord Gwyn ever since he donned his first set of armor as a Silver Knight in Lord Gwyn's army. Artorius led the Silver Knights in their charge against the dragons, crippled by Goth's great archers, and laid waste to their reign. For his exceptional service, Artorius was given the Wolf Ring, and was thus inducted into the elite knights. In Anor Londo, Allfather Lloyd garnered a great deal of influence as Gwyn's advisor, and though he was terribly disappointed in himself for abandoning the precepts of old that he himself had put in place, his fear of his nephew's power outweighed his pious regrets. Lloyd founded a new order of cleric knights and bishops called the Way of the White. This holy order crafted a magical power called miracles. These were texts that spoke of the wondrous powers of the gods, and their recitation could evoke the power they described. This magical force was conjured by the faith of the channeler, and its power was proportionate to how faithful he or she was to the gods of the world. The clerics of the Way of the White created miracles that could allow people to heal themselves and others of any injury, cleanse the body of ailments, transport them to safe places in the midst of peril, and even hurl great spears of lightning from their bare hands, just as Gwyn had done to fell the dragons. With these and other powerful miracles at their disposal, the Way of the White was charged with spreading the influence of the First Flame across the land. Though the true First Flame was still burning in the great kiln, Lloyd was determined to keep the people's faith in its glory, and with the land's population growing exponentially within the new kingdoms, and their lives becoming filled with distraction, the people's reverence was subsiding. In an effort to reverse this, Lloyd sent his cleric knights on sacred journeys through the kingdoms to build bonfires in various locations, simulating the First Flame's fire and prolonging the new age. For as long as the flames of the world burned brightly, the age of fire would live on. The Allfather advised his nephew that he ought to form a council of those he trusted. Gwyn complied and appointed those closest to him as members of his small council. These included the 4 elite knights, Allfather Lloyd, Duke Seath, and the head bishop of the Way of the White, Havel the Rock. Havel was a staunch believer in the philosophies of Allfather Lloyd and the Way of the White. He studied the art of miracles and harbored a deep resentment for sorceries. He saw this art from Vinheim as an affront on the miracles of the gods. Producing magic without paying due reverence to the gods was a most blasphemous offense to Havel, and so he despised it and all those who would vouch for its merit. Because of his abhorrence for this heretical magic, Havel created his own brand of miracles that offered enhanced protection against the magic of sorceries. It was Lord Gwyn's favor for Havel's devotion that brought His Majesty to appoint the bishop a trusted member of his small council, and the two became close friends. Lordran was flourishing, with the great Lord's radiant kingdom as its shining beacon. The land of lords would see many long years of prosperity. But of course, the edicts of time cannot allow eternal providence, and so calamity was sure to follow.